Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Sports Chambers. Today we have some exciting track and field news for you. But before I get into all of that, I just want to remind everyone out there, continue to pray for Jamaica's hurricane relief. It is a very difficult time in the land of wood and water, and whatever you can do to help, please do so, because every little is significant in a time like this. Families are suffering, individuals are suffering. It is a really difficult time. So if you can help, please do help. As I said, exciting track and field news is on the agenda for today. Well, at least I consider it exciting. I don't know how you will feel about this news. And the news is that Akira Nugent, the world indoor 60-meter hurdles bronze medalist, is no longer training in the United States of America at Arkansas. In fact, she is now training at the Glen Mills led Racers Track Club in Kingston, Jamaica. Akira started training earlier this week, so she is in her first week of training with the Racers group. Now, I considered this to be a significant development, and for a number of reasons, which I'll try to go through in this piece. But let me first start by giving some background on Akira and how she got to this stage. And I'll start from high school, because she was an absolute star in high school. That was at Excelsior High. In fact, she set a world under 18 record, 12.89 seconds, while she was at Excelsior. That was at the Youngster Goldsmith Classic. So she was brilliant, did well at 400 hurdles as well, although that wasn't her preferred event, and showed great speed at both 100 and 200 meters. So from the time she was at Excelsior, it was very clear that this young lady was a super talent and could go very far in this sport. From Excelsior, she went on to Baylor University. In her freshman year at Baylor University, she won the NCAA indoor title, which was a massive achievement. And then later on that year, she won the World Under 20 title in Nairobi, Kenya. Incidentally, when she won that World Under 20 title, she beat Ditaji Kambunji, who is now the world champion. As everyone knows, Kambunji actually fell in that final. They were having a terrific race up to that point, but Nugent won the gold medal in Nairobi, Kenya at the World Under 20 Championships. In early 2023, though, she made the move from Baylor University to join Arkansas, where Chris Johnson became the head coach in the summer of 2023 at Arkansas. And for those of you who don't know, Chris Johnson is the brother of Lawrence Boogie Johnson. Lawrence Boogie Johnson, the world-renowned sprint and hurdles coach. He's guided the likes of Dalila Muhammad, the former world record holder in the women's 400 hurdles. He brought Brianna Rollins to a world title in 2019 in the 100 hurdles. He coaches the likes of Anna Cockrell now. So he has a fine group of hurdlers, both sprint hurdles and 400 hurdles. And that was the group that Akira Nugent, and when I say group, the Arkansas group that Akira Nugent was in, with Chris Johnson as the head coach. And then Lawrence Boogie Johnson joined the program after he became head coach in the summer of 2023. Lawrence as an assistant. By the way, Lawrence had pulled up his previous camp, his hurdles mechanic camp, which was in Texas, to go to Arkansas. So she is no longer there, though, Akira Nugent, and now she is at the Racers Track Club. In a way, this does not come as a massive surprise, and the reason for that is, you'll remember a couple of times this year, Akira Nugent almost sounding a warning, saying that she had fallen out of love with the sport. The love ain't in it anymore. It's as if she was just running to get the races over with, and it just seemed as if everything wasn't all right that she wasn't exactly happy, and it didn't help as well that she didn't make the final of the World Championships earlier this year in Tokyo, Japan, and she repeated those sentiments after failing to make the World Championship final. In fact, she had a pretty lengthy social media post saying that it is not that she had lost her confidence, because there was still belief that she could be one of the best in the world, but it was about, regaining the love that she once had for the sport. And I kind of took that to mean that, changes were coming. And here we have it. There is a change, and it is a significant change. She is at the Racers Track Club. And for those of you who are wondering, well, not wondering, but those of you who need a reminder of the Racers Track Club, the legendary Usain Bolt spent his career at the Racers Track Club. Johan Blake also was a member of the Racers Track Club, certainly peak Johan Blake. And Glen Mills has produced, who's the head coach, by the way, a number of other great athletes, including the former world champion in the 100 meters, or the 2003 world champion, the Kititian Kim Collins. And it is now the home of the reigning world 100 champion, the newly crowned world 100 champion, oblique Seville, Antonia Watson, who is a world champion over 400 meters from 2023, is also in that group. So it just gives you some context of what that group is all about. And yes, Glen Mills, the legendary Glen Mills, is the head coach of that group. So that gives you an idea of the setup that Akira Nugent is going into. Let's talk about Akira Nugent a little bit, though, and her talent, because this is a supremely talented young woman. She is the joint 7th fastest woman in the history of the 100 hurdles, with a personal best of 12.24 seconds. That makes her also the all-time fastest Jamaican in the event. And although after not making the World Championship final, she, spoke about not enjoying the sport as much, she did have a pretty good 2025 season. She won the world indoor bronze medal, which was a massive deal for her after I don't want to say a disappointing semi-final performance, but after her semi-final, it looked as if she might end up on the outside looking in, and she mustered something to get a bronze medal in that final. It was a terrific run. And then she also won the Diamond League, which was ahead of the World Championship. So it's not as if it was a terrible year. She also ran 12.30 seconds, which was the fastest by a Jamaican in 2025. So there is no doubt that the Racers Track Club is getting a real quality athlete here. I've spoken about Glen Mills because he is the head coach of the group, but I want to also zone in on the hurdles coach at the Racers group, who I suspect will be working directly with her as her hurdles coach. Now, I said there are a few things significant about this Akira Nugent move. Let me talk about one of them. Many individuals I know would probably say that, well, let's take a year or two ago, would probably say maybe this is not the greatest move for Akira Nugent. But after last season, when Toby Amerson, the world record holder in the 100 hurdles, joined forces with the Racers Track Club under the guidance as well, or with the blessing of her should I say former coach? I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say former coach, or her previous coach, Lucina Golding Clark, who is a Jamaican as well, with the blessing of Lucina Golding Clark, joined forces with Glen Mills and the Racers group, got a World Championship silver medal after a disappointing Olympic year in 2024. After the success of the Nigerian, one of the premier sprint hurdlers in the world, then I think people will look at this move from Akira Nugent in a completely different way, because now you're looking at a group who individuals will say, yes, this is something that is doable. Akira Nugent is supremely talented, and the expertise is clearly there to get her to perform at an even higher level. So yes, I want to zone in on Craig Sewell, who is the hurdles coach, and a lot of people might not know much about him, but that's because he has flown under the radar. So he was the hurdles coach at Calabar in a period where they had the likes of Orlando Bennett, Desjour Russell as well. Remember that period when Calabar did so well in the hurdles? Sewell was there for part of that period. And then he has been coaching at the high school level still at Jamaica College now. But at the senior level, he has been the coach of Orlando Bennett since he left Calabar. And remember, the first year Orlando Bennett was a professional in 2019, he made the national team to the World Championship in Doha, which was a significant achievement. And he has come through the ranks to the point where he is now a World Championship silver medalist. And yes, Craig Sewell has been the man guiding Orlando Bennett as his hurdles coach. And then you had Tommy Amuson last year. So there is no doubt that Craig Sewell knows what he is doing. And so it makes this partnership quite interesting. Now, specifically in terms of, so I spoke about Toby Amuson, who, as I understand it, is still at the Racers Track Club this season. Of course, there'll be no reason for her to change after the success that she had in 2025, and she is still going to be there for the 2026 season. I'm not sure exactly the dynamics of how it will work, but I know that Amoy Brown, formerly of the MVP Track Club, will also be training with Coach Sewell. I don't know if all these hurdlers are going to be training partners, and plus he still has Orlando Bennett as well, so it's a nice crop of sprint hurdlers for Craig Sewell to work with. And I think about it, I don't know what the arrangement is going to be in terms of whether they are actually going to be training partners. But yes, real exciting times in that group. And I think Craig Sewell now has an opportunity to create something real special. And I just wonder, he is still coaching at Jamaica College, but I really do have to wonder how much longer that is going to last, because I can see tremendous success in his future. And as he has more success, then more athletes, more sprint hurdlers are going to want to join his group, because that is exactly what happens in the track and field world and in life generally. Once you have success, there is more attention, more individuals want to be part of what you're doing, and specifically in the track and field sense, you will expect more athletes to want to be coached by him, if indeed he continues to have the type of success that he has been having. So yes, big move from Akira Nugent. She is now at the Racers Track Club, where the legendary Glen Mills is the head coach, where Craig Sewell, a rising coach in especially rising sprint hurdles coach, is there as well. And I cannot wait to see what will happen in the 2026 season for all of them. Real interesting times, because the Racers Track Club has a number of new acquisitions, and it will be a lot for them to deal with. I always watch carefully the numbers in a particular group, in terms, especially the number of high-profile athletes, because if you understand how athletes work, they like individual attention, and you can well understand. And yes, and a lot of athletes go to specific coaches because they want that individual attention. And that is not always easy, especially when the numbers start to grow. So that will be something to watch closely with the Racers group. Of course, there are several assistant coaches there. Glen Mills is the head coach. You have Sewell as a hurdles coach. You have the likes of Patrick Dawson. You have Michelle Woolry. So there are quality assistant coaches there, but it's always important to watch those numbers and just to see how that pans out. Specifically with Akira Nugent, you also just hope that this change will be extremely good for her from a mental standpoint. As I said, given a lot of what she said post World Championships, where she did not make the final, you wondered about her mental state. But sometimes returning to a familiar place, and for her, Jamaica is home. Jamaica is a familiar place, and being able to return to this familiar place, you hope will be very good for her, will be very good for her mental health, and that she can regain the love for the sport, as she put it after her World Championship disappointment. And once she can do that, there is no doubt, at least in my mind, that this girl has the potential to be the very best in the world. I have said it before and I'll say it again to close this piece. I genuinely believe that Akira Nugent has what it takes to become the world record holder in the women's 100 hurdles. And incidentally, she may well now be training with the current world record holder, but I think she has what it takes to be the world record holder. I'll go as far as to say I think she has what it takes to become the first woman to go sub 12 in the 100 hurdles. She has the speed, she has the hurdling quality, and it's all about putting that together now. And once she can do that, I have no doubt she is going to go super, super fast. So, Racers Track Club, you have a special one, and we're looking forward to special things. Can't wait to see what will happen for the 2026 season and beyond. We really do wish Akira Nugent all the very best. One of the best Jamaica has produced in the women's sprint hurdles, and the land of wood and water has produced quite a lot in that event. Thank you so much for watching. Again, remember, if you can donate to Jamaica's hurricane relief, all the help that Jamaica can get at this time is needed. It is a very difficult time, as I said, in the land of wood and water. And as usual, if you want more great content, more updates on what is happening around the world of sport, then this is the channel to subscribe to. Sports Chambers. Thanks for watching.